Hi guys, you've probably seen the title. I wanted to talk about one of the most popular knife series on the market, perhaps my favorite knife series on the market, certainly my favorite Benchmade series on the market, because I am kind of more of a Spyderco guy. But if you don't like this series of knife, I don't know what your fucking problem is. Excuse my French. This is the Benchmade 940. All right, this is the original. Or the original style, I guess. I don't know if the original production models from 15, 18 years ago, whenever it came out, might have differed a little bit. This one was made in 2019, I think. This was maybe only the second Benchmade I owned, because I didn't really start ramping up my collection again until 2019, and I certainly was never really a big Benchmade person before then. I think maybe I had a Griptilian before this. But this is currently my favorite Benchmade. And it's not the only 940 Osborne variant anymore. There are some other 940 variants that come with, micarta or G10 scales, maybe a black coated blade, maybe carbon fiber, an S90V or whatever. But this is the classic and best well-known variant, which is the green anodized handles with the purple backspacer, an uncoated, or I should say uncolored, S30V blade. You'll see down here I've extended this tape measure to 3 and about 1/4 inches, which is what I measured this blade at. I liked this family of knives so much that I wanted to get the whole family so that I could do a video like this, because why the heck else not, right? Okay, having just opened up the blinds for a little bit more light, let me show you the second member of the family that I've owned. This is the 9400. You've probably seen me show this before. This looks just like the 940, except that it is the push-button automatic version, and I've said this before, man, does this thing kick. This might kick harder than any side-folding automatic certainly that I own, but that I've felt. So it looks almost completely identical to the 940, with the exception that it's got the push-button action here. Instead of the, let me see if I can get this to focus. The automatic is on top, and the the semi-automatic is on bottom. You'll notice that there's some screws differences here. And the axis lock, they made the button look a lot like the axis lock little knob thing. And I will, of course, give like a top-down view with a closer view for each of these knives. But it's got that great purple backspacer. The anodizing, the green color is the same on both knives, by the way. But the the semi-automatic axis lock version has a little bit more wear because I've owned it for longer. And it's difficult for me to get an angle with the light here to show that they're actually the same color. I'm not sure if a shadow looked like one was darker than the other, but they are the same, I assure you. It's the same green anodized aluminum handle, backspacer, S30V, same blade shape, same size as the 940, but this being the automatic is the 9400. And I have the box here from another Benchmade, and you'll see that it says blue class down here. That's, I guess, like their blue collar, their blue collar knife, even though this is pretty gentlemanly looking knife. The automatic, I believe they call black class, which is the box that this came with that I can't happen to find right now. And it's got that safety again, by the way. So they call this black class. I bought this at a Scheels in Reno, Nevada, and they actually made me go to the counter. Like I couldn't take it from the case to the counter. I had to be escorted to the counter to buy it there because it's an automatic, and that apparently makes it a weapon that's going to hurt a lot of people. So I had to go there to get it. All right. Now the newest member of the family is this guy. This is the 945. This is the mini Osborne. You may have seen me show the 945 black in the past. It was a black. It was just like this. Same knife externally, but it had a black G10 grips with blue backspacers and a black coated blade. I went ahead and traded that actually. I mentioned in a previous video that I showed it. that while I liked that knife, I wish I had waited until this one came out and I got the opportunity to trade it straight up. Although neither of us had the box on us at the time, so I still have the box from the black one that I have. I guess we'll have to make that trade in the future. This is one of my favorite knives now, okay? You've heard me say in the past that I live in San Francisco, and there's a 3-inch blade limit for regular manual folders like this. So this would be legal to carry in San Francisco, although it's got that gravity knife possibility. I made a video about different types of knives and what you can carry in California and San Francisco. This could be considered a gravity knife. So thus continues my ever-continuing search for knives that you could carry uncontroversially in San Francisco. I would feel comfortable carrying this. It's got the typical Benchmade Osborne pocket clip. I'd like to switch this for a deep carry pocket clip. The other two Osbornes, the 940 and the 945, I'll probably leave what they have on them. They have what some people call actually, I guess the original 940 is different. This is like a spoon-looking thing that says Benchmade. I'm not in love with this. And the 945 has what some people call the horse penis clip because of the shape of the tip. This one is a little bit less pronounced, but it's there. The other two I'd probably leave the pocket clip, but this one I'd like to change it. I really, really like this knife, but it's so new to me that I haven't had much use. But being that it's 3 inches or 2.99 inches or what have you, I think that I could carry this in San Francisco. And, you know, looking through my collection, by the way, I don't really have that many knives that could be carried legally in San Francisco because they're under 3 inches and are not spring powered. You've seen me talk about this Kershaw Scallion, but it's spring assisted, although it's manual, so I don't know. Are they going to call this an automatic? Again, I could reference my video from before. I have found the only 3 knives that I own that are manual side folders that are not gravity knives and not spring assisted. They happen to all be Spydercos. You've seen me show the Dragonfly, the Crewwear Dragonfly, which has a strong spring, so it definitely could not be a gravity knife. Then, of course, the Ladybug. All right, strong spring, can't be a gravity knife. And then one of my favorite knives ever, the carbon fiber chaparral. But this one is too nice. I just don't want to carry it just because I don't want to ruin it. It became a safe queen. But I suppose I feel comfortable with this. I don't really think I'm going to have any trouble with it. So let me talk about why I like this knife and anything that I don't like about it. I love the look of it, first of all. It's just really nice looking. If you are at, I don't know, a barbecue, or you're sitting in your living room with a friend or whatever, and somebody says, hey, do you have a pocket knife or something? I don't know, maybe they're trying to get something open, cut open a cardboard box, or do something that you might need a knife for that's not a prying task, of course, and you show them this, they're going to say, wow, look at this thing. Nice color green with shiny purple. This must be a special piece. And I guess it is priced like a special piece, 170, 175 doll hairs. But to me, this is something that I would carry and not even think about it. If I lost it, I'd be really pissed. But this is something that I would carry. So I really like the look of it. I'm not in love with the ergonomics, but for a regular thing that you carry around just to open up packages from Amazon or open up boxes that contain other knives, this is fine. You can't get a great, this sharpening choil, I wish was a finger choil. Maybe somebody could modify, I probably wouldn't do it to the 945, but maybe the 940. It'd be nice if somebody could re-grind this and move that, maybe deepen that sharpening choil and lengthen it to maybe almost be a finger choil. But for a knife of this size, at least the sub 3-inch blade, you're not going to need to bear down that hard on anything. And if you are, you're probably not using the right tool. It's got this jimping on the liner inside, But again, you know, guys, it's not like a Spyderco. I just love the Spyderco ergonomics where it's got the thumb ramp because it's got the opening hole. And although the Chaparral has a considerably less pronounced thumb ramp here, compared to at least the Para and the paramilitary, the PM Para 3 family, it's pretty good. It's got the forward finger choil and it's got a thumb ramp, you know, with jimping here. So this is something you could really just squeeze, and like if you had to sharpen a stick into a point or do any kind of whittling, that would be great. With the 940 family, the 945, you know, this has the same length blade as the Chaparral, just under 3 inches. You can't get that kind of a purchase. You have to be farther back off the knife, and although you can get all 4 fingers on it, it's just not. This is really more of a gentleman's knife. This would not be a survival situation knife. So that's one thing I like, one thing I don't like. One thing I love about the 940 family and about Benchmades is the axis lock, guys. It's great. It's, you know, I don't know if I want to call it better than the compression lock. At least in terms of fidgetability, it's faster. I don't know if it's a stronger lockup, but, I mean, this is pretty fast. By the way, this was pretty tight when I got it. I had to loosen up the pivot pin a little bit, which you probably should not do. You should probably just break it in. I should probably tighten it back to where it was not drop free, and then just allowed it to break in rather than loosen it up, because having loosened it up, now I got this. Feel that? That's the blade inside rattling back and forth a little bit, so I got to tighten that up. It was not doing that before against the washers inside. So that's probably the best thing I'd say about the Griptilians, the Osbornes, the bug-outs, the bailouts of the world, is that this axis lock is just so sweet. It flicks so good. I think I like it a little bit better on the 940 just because you have more mass, and it just, man, that feels good. You put this in someone's hand, you know, that has never handled a knife before, they'll say, okay, this is a thumb stud. You know, I know how to open this knife. They might not know how to close it. They'll probably look for a frame lock or a liner lock, and they won't know how to close it. So you'll say, I'll close it for you. If you were to tell them, oh, just pull down on that thing, they're going to keep their fingers here and guillotine their fingers off. They're not going to know, okay, remove your fingers from the blade and then let it drop. Although that's one of the best things about the axis lock, that you can remove your fingers from the closing path of the blade. Someone who picks up a pocket knife once a year, and it's probably more like a Kershaw that's a frame lock or liner lock, they're not going to know that. And if you just tell them, I'll just try to simulate it here, pull back on that thing, they're going to say, okay, I'll try to reach it with my thumb, blade swings closed, and that sharpening choil pinches their index finger. It's almost like kind of the back lock on the Spyderco. If you want to close it one-handed, you have to know how to do it. A once-a-year person is going to use two hands like that. Someone who knows how to work it is going to say, okay, move your finger up on the choil to stop it, or down there, so when that happens, it won't pinch your finger. So that's something to worry about, I guess. I would not even ask a person to try to close the 9400 if they were not familiar with this kind of thing. If you said, certainly they would have to use two hands, I would definitely not recommend. I'm only using one hand right now because I'm kind of filming with the other, but I would, about half the time I use two hands for this. I never use the safety, by the way, but that's just a testament, I guess, to how great the axis lock is. So let me get down closer and show you a close-up view of these three knives. Okay guys, here you got to your top-down view. I've got these lined up at the pivot pin now, so you can see kind of the different sizes, and of course the 3¼ inch blade on the large size knife. So you can see that the 945 is a little bit shorter, I don't know, ½ inch on the handle. You could look up the specs online. Maybe slide this a little over. All right, the 940 and the 9400 are the same size. Here's the 940 opened. sorry, the 945, the 940, 9400. Okay, love them, honestly. I can't wait to get more use out of this. But here you can see the kind of strange shape of the blade. A lot of people say it doesn't look right. They call this a reverse tanto, the swedge. If you like it, you like it. If you love it, you love it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. It's a distinct looking shape. It doesn't really have a utilitarian purpose. It just looks like the way it does. But here's a close-up on the handle, on the color. I'd call it maybe forest green. It's a little greener than the camera's picking it up. This is making it look, it's a cloudy day outside, guys, and that's the that's what that reflects. But it's actually a greener than the camera's picking it up. There you see the purple. Yeah, I just all around great knife, and I had to get the whole family. I really did. So this might be for you, might not be for you. Just thought that I'd give a comparison in case anybody's looking at this one, which is new. Not a big fan of the black blade ones. They all come with a black blade in different versions, but I like this one, the regular S30V without the coating. So hope this was informative.